Okay, so you're studying for your NCLEX and you made a schedule. Great. But the thing is, do you follow your schedule? Okay, so before I continue, I would just like to make a shout out to my friend Hillary for passing her NCLEX-RN exam. Congrats, Hill! You were definitely a trooper. She just passed last week, but you know, it's still awesome to know that one of my classmates were able to pass the NCLEX. Okay, so one of the first things that I want to emphasize is that you should stick to your schedule. If you've gone to nursing school and you have friends in nursing school, there are probably people passing all around you, passing the NCLEX, while you still sit there and review. And it sucks, especially for me. Failed it twice, still reviewing. I want to stop reviewing and still be able to say that I'm competent as a nurse, or at least entry-level nurse, to have my license and start my nursing career. But I'm not there yet, so until then I have to review every day. Well, for me, most of the week. So currently where I am with my review, I'm trying to finish up my Hearst audio recordings, and at the same time I'm also doing questions to follow after. I do have different question banks, so one of the first things that I did was list all the practice tests that I have in my Lippincott question and answer review book. And I'm like marking down on the side what my scores are beside each test. For this purpose, because I have different question banks and I like to have the different variety of question banks, I only do 25 questions at a time. And when I see that I'm weak in a particular area, my plan is to go back to those tests and do the rest of those questions. Then I also have my priority and delegation book, and I also started going through a number of their practice tests or through their tests. And I also marked down, same manner, 25 questions and my percentage. And I seem to be doing alright. Could do better on renal and genitourinary. Then lastly, I have my Hearst review, my audio recordings. I only have 4 topics left. Usually what I do is I do one subject or one area or system a day. And then I just do my questions based on that topic and then see what I learned, see what I can apply. Medications is also included depending on the system. But yeah, so that's my basic schedule. One system a day and try to do all the questions. And then once I finish all my subjects, I'll go back to those particular questions pertaining to whichever subject or system I'm weak at. My plan on Fridays is to take the longer exams instead of doing 25 at a time. Yeah, so that's my current schedule. So I'm almost there and I'm thinking maybe I want to put my test for next month. I just want to keep putting myself on questions. Like in my last video, the more I did questions, the more I noticed that my test scores, my test performance was closer to the passing standard than before. I'm really trying to aim for like 100 questions a day. And I usually study like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesdays I usually leave for whatever video projects that I have, because I also do things for my church and I also do things for my own kind of practice for photography. Anyway, in relevance to scheduling, I know there's never going to be a perfect time to study. And let's be honest, there isn't ever going to be one. Especially if you have your work, especially if you have parents asking you to do things, if you have other obligations with your friends, or you just have something to keep you busy. But one thing is for sure, you always study when you can. If you have your question bank as an app, use that on the go. If you know that you're going to be busy in the afternoon, study in the morning. Wake up early if you have to. If you know you have the free time, put in your NCLEX review in there. To be honest, I may not study 4 hours straight. I may do one or 2 hours, like 8 o'clock, and then maybe I might do the next hour in like 11 o'clock, and then the next hour some in between 1 and 2, and then the next hour between 7 and 8. The point is just to keep doing it. It's like when you study for the NCLEX, it's kind of like working out. Let's say that you want to run every single day, but at the same time you can't seem to fit the right time of the day to run. You tell yourself that you're going to run every single morning, but you wind up not doing so. There's some days where you have the mornings free, some days where you have the afternoons free or evenings free. If you can fit in that workout, fit it in. At least you're doing it every day. The whole point of, working out, the whole point of reviewing, getting those gains, if you will, all of it is just to stay active. Actively studying. Talk about it with someone. Teach it to someone. Whatever. As long as nursing knowledge just becomes integrated into your life. So when you go into your workout mode, when you go for a run, it won't be so difficult for you to run like next week because you were able to run every single day of this week. So by the time that you do take your NCLEX, it'll be much easier for you to say that at least I was exposed to this, at least my mind is trained for this particular setup, this scenario, answering questions straight or answering questions in a certain rhythm. I took my NCLEX twice and I had the rhythm of doing some questions at first, when I actually said that I was going to schedule my exam, this was my schedule, but then towards the end it was a bit so-and-so. I got to the end, I was really like cramming it in. This time I'm actually kind of training myself, putting more questions throughout my day, getting that 100 questions in, 25 at a time, and rationalizing. So by the time that I do approach my exam, I probably answered over 2,000 questions, hopefully. And that's way more questions that I have ever taken since my first and second time. You may not be able to do your studying today or whatever, but be active. The whole point is to be active. Get some kind of exercise in. Get some kind of NCLEX related stuff into your head. Scheduling helps with discipline, great, but don't let it disappoint you if you can't get it at the same time of every single day. As long as you do it, you can't be sad about that. You can't be frustrated. The whole point of scheduling is to keep yourself active, to let yourself be conscientious of how you're going to study, and to be able to actually incorporate it into your day. And for consistency. You may be like 5 minutes or so late into reviewing, but get it in. If you meant for this particular day to be a rest day, that's perfectly fine. But if you know that if today is the day that you're going to review and you haven't even picked up one book or you haven't even started any questions, do something. If you meant this day to be the day that you work out, even the littlest bit. We both know that if you're studying for the NCLEX, we both understand how important it is for you to pass. So even with the bare minimum, it's okay. But if you really want to pass, you're gonna push yourself to do more. Listen, I would rather do 25 questions, at least 10 questions in one day than rather do no questions at all. Hopefully you already know yourself enough to know what you do need and how you need to study. So as far as scheduling goes, be active. Study well, rest well, pray most, and God bless.